Good day, everyone. This is Onion. It's Sunday, March 7th. Today I'm going to go over Globalstar Incorporated with you. We're going to look at some of the technical insight, some analyst expectations, general overview of it, short selling activity, that kind of thing. I took a day trading position in GSAT on Friday, and I believe for the next month or so there'll be some nice action day trading with some safeties of put contracts. So the following video is just my view of Globalstar and where it's going to be going. It's not investment advice at all. It just gives you my idea and my expectations of the company.
Okay, so we'll look at the technical insight for Globalstar. This is the 1 year chart, but we're going to do the short term because that's when really all the action started. So over the last few weeks after the spike, there's really no surprise. All the bearish signals and indicators are starting to trigger as the price goes down. You got the MACD, it's pretty close to the zero line. It's at the 0.1, but it's staying away from the average line quite a bit. So this is still, there's no sign of movement upward yet. If we look at the RSI, excuse me, it's at 44, so there's still a lot of movement downward if that's the way it's going. But then there's also a lot of movement upward. There's a lot of room to move here, but every indicator is showing bearish momentum here. So if we look at the analyst, I believe there's only one analyst covering this company at the moment, and they gave them a price for 55 cents. And this was back in January 21st. So it's pretty old recommendation, but still that's the only person right now that's covering GSAT. So if we look at the news, and the only reason I like to look at I like to look at the news to see if the share price moves because of news, and it does. This really moves. Like this was the first, I think this was the modem news. Yeah, this was the modem news. This is what, got everything started. But even when you're getting these crazy, I believe this was a Motley Fool article that they wrote. And even with these things, the price is moving. So this was the last one, I believe, was the Jeep Jamboree. Yeah. So you can see, like the news came out and then right away it dumped. So, and then this was the earnings report here, and it's, not the greatest earnings. So it's not terrible earnings either, but so that's why the price went down and leveled off. So just keep that in mind if you're day trading this or plan to sell short or something. Keep it on your alert list for news because it really moves with the news here. There's a large share float. I can show you that in a second here. Like the share float is huge, 1.7 billion, but Globalstar owns 60% of that. So, if there is news that comes out, the share float's really not that big if people are gonna flip, right? So, you can see here just all the numbers here. Nothing really great, but nothing really terrible, right? The earnings announcements the last 12 months, revenue stayed the same, and the actual and estimate earning per share is really close. Like a -2, -1, that's nothing bad, right? There's a lot of companies out there with -20, right? So -1's not too bad. If we look at, we'll look at the short and institutional activity here. So here's the short activity for the last 2 weeks. I noticed with if you overlay this with the news, it acts with the news too, right? So there's a lot of days it can go over 30%, but then it drops down to 13. So this is a very volatile stock for short selling or for day trading. So just keep your eye on the short activity. The borrow rate percentage is really low. It's below 1%. And there's 4.6 million shares available. Now I'm going to track the percentage rate. I just started checking today. It's March 7th today, but I just started checking today, but because it changes every day, right? And I always like to see where the borrow rate goes. If it goes higher, there's obviously the short selling slows down a little bit. But if it stays in around the 1% or keeps on dropping, that's going to be interesting to follow. So the institutional activity, I usually have lists here of like added positions and closed positions, but surprisingly there was not a lot of added or closed positions with that spike. Normally when I see spikes like that, you see a lot of institutions they dump, right, because they have 100, 200% gain. But not a lot of them did, or they haven't reported it yet. So there was only two, and I believe it was only a 3,000 share decrease, so I didn't bother putting it in. Because you still have strong institutional owners here. There's 143, and the ownership percent is 20 point, almost 21%. Um, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a little bit more digging here, and I want to see what these institutions bought these shares for, because at a share price of a dollar, 40 or dollar 50, if they're sitting at 100, 150% increase, of course they're not going to sell, right? So I want to see, I'm going to do a little bit more digging maybe today or throughout the week, and I want to see what they paid for those shares. So if we look here, this is the morning star report. Basically, this is a quant computer. It takes measurements of a whole bunch of different metrics, and it gives it, an average of what the computers think the share price should be. So you can see it's pretty much, this is the history of it since 2012, recording it. It's pretty close, and then you have this really big spike here. So, that's obviously abnormal spike. The fair value Morningstar gives GSAT is $1.17. So I'll just scroll down here, and these are the metrics that they use, to figure out that, this is what they base their calculation on, all of this metric here. So if you don't get the report, I just put it up here so you can see. And now this one here is the Reuters report, and I'm going to scroll. I had it down. I was just reading a story. I'm going to scroll to the top here. And if you guys don't get this one here, I'll scroll back down slower, and then you can obviously pause anytime you want. So it has an average score of 1 out of 10, and 1 is the lowest score. It's been down here for a while. Really nothing here that surprises me. You know, it's a small company, right? So a lot of people you know analyze it. Not a lot of people look at it. So there's not a lot of metrics here that are measured. But like I'll just scroll to the bottom here, and you guys can obviously that's the bottom there. So okay, this is I think what I should set all these back. This is the insider buying and selling report. Um, this I like. Normally, when you see companies like this and spikes like this, you see a bunch of red dots here because the board of directors, the CFO, the CEO, they all sell. Nobody sold yet, which is a really really good thing because that shows that they have faith in the company. When you see companies, when they're flatline like this and then they jump up and you see all these red dots here, and everyone's selling, it's a very very bad sign, right? When the insiders are selling, it's not a good thing. But they do like to give themselves grants. They grant themselves a lot of shares, as you can see here. It's quite a bit, but again, take this information as you will. I have my own opinion on that, and then I'll just scroll down here. This is the last 12 months of insider activity, and then the CEO. They have 5.1 million shares they own. Again, didn't sell one, with that spike, so that's very good. CFO 1.3 million shares, and I believe there was one more director, no, sorry, an officer here with just over 1.3 million shares. So overall, they're not selling. I like that. That's a good sign. So, GSAT, I believe, is it's done. It's got pumped, and now it's dumping, right? To find a fair value, I believe the fair value is going to go back closer to the $1 mark. There's no really real fundamental reason why it should be this high. Like sure, they've had good news and they got a few good deals and everything, but it doesn't justify a $2 billion market cap. So with that share float of 1.7 billion shares, that's what's hurting this company, and that's what's going to bring the price back down. They're going to have to do something either with the share float or get a lot of more business or something to keep this up, the share price up fundamentally. So short term, for the next month or so, I got myself some puts for safety, and I'm going to be day trading this on the downtrend. I believe we can probably trade it down to about 80 cents. But again, this is just my opinion. Good news comes out or anything else, it could switch and it could reverse and go back up again.
So overall, with Globalstar, I like the company. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I just believe it's a little bit overvalued at the moment. The share price is going to start going back down to $1. According to the technicals and everything. And just my opinion, right? It could change. With one news release, it could skyrocket to the moon, right? So we really don't know. I'm going to day trade this probably for the next month or so on the downtrend. I do have a price target of around 85 cents that is going to go down to. But I am going to day trade with safeties, with put contracts, option contracts, because this is a kind of company. If you do hold overnight or something, it can gap down in the morning and never recover. So if you are day trading this, this isn't advice, but I when I day trade this, I would definitely have a put option, just in case the price does fall, never recovers. You can at least break even or get a little bit of a profit. So I'm going to be covering Globalstar for the next month or so, mainly just the short activity and any institutional activity. I cover that daily. So I hope this video helps. Good luck to everyone. Have a great trading week and take care.